do my introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Widowed Mom Raising Two Sons back with another video. I am at Oliver Ford. It's Oliver Ford, Lincoln Mercury, right?
Oliver Ford Lincoln.
In Plymouth, Indiana, my hometown, and this is John Oliver, the owner, and I am going to be asking him the questions that a lot of you submitted about how we're handling the COVID-19 virus in my community. So I'll just come sit over here. My first one, as a business owner, are you worried if your business will survive? Is what they want to know.
Kris, that's a good question. You know, it's very unsettling right now. I have faith that this is a short run disease. I'm not so sure that the economy is going to bounce back quite as fast as the virus goes away. So it is concerning. We've been around for 65 plus years, but I've never felt more uneasy than I do right now. People have wanted to come in to have work done both in service and in sales, but they're being told to stay home. So, you know, which do you follow? Do you want to support your local business, but at the same time, I want to adhere to what the state and government and federal agencies are telling us to stay home. So it's troubling.
Right,
in a lot of different ways, more mentally than anything.
I agree with the mental. That leads to the next question. If the shutdown of local non-essential businesses is prolonged, will it affect your business in the long run?
Absolutely. It's affected us now, and I think with the stimulus money, I think people got back to maybe an even state. But even now, I think people are digging into their savings that they maybe hadn't planned on digging into. And I think it's shaken confidence enough that people are becoming they're going to hang on to their cash, you know, to buy things that are non-essential. You know, sometimes you need a car to get to work, but if not, you're sure not going to go out and spend unnecessary money right now. So I think people are getting a little tentative. And it depends really what happens this week. If the governor is willing to open up the state again, I think it's a step in the right direction. But I still think we're 4 to 6 weeks away from, even from that point, a normal feel of any kind of business. I mean, and not just in the automotive world. I mean, anything. The guy that sells shoes to the lady that has a dry cleaning business. There's nothing normal right now, but hopefully that's going to come back eventually.
What do you think the new normal will look like?
You know, I put a lot of thought behind this because I'm a very personable. I like to handshake. I'm a big hugging person. And this has changed probably the way everything is going to move going forward. You know, the days of the personal contact and patting somebody on the back, shaking their hand, I just don't know that that's going to return to the same ever again. I think we're going to be leery when flu season comes around this fall. You know, is there a chance I might spread this the same way? And maybe, you know, because we've cleaned everything and we wash our hands. I mean, they're raw from washing them so much. It's, you know, it's hard, but still, you know, like you, I want to give you a hug and a handshake. It feels awkward and it doesn't feel normal to me. And most people have said the same thing. So I think the new normal, you know, standing a certain distance away from talking, that also is not, it's not normal for me. But it's becoming, you know, more normal. So it'll happen over time. So
I hope so too. You know. What precautions do you have in place to keep your employees and customers safe?
I'm glad you asked that. We've gone through a lot of trial, tribulation talks. We meet on this almost on a daily basis. But besides our own personal hygiene, washing our hands, door handles, everything that would be in contact, chairs, tables, floors, restrooms. We've always had a fairly clean facility, but now it's not only clean looking, it's sanitary and it's clean. And, you know, some of the dirtiest things that we come in contact with on a daily basis are people's cars. And I don't mean their personal cars, but I mean everything about their car, door handles, bumpers, seats, the seat belts themselves. So we've had to do a completely different thought of anything that can be touched, like a moonroof button. I mean, we have to sterilize before we work on it, so I don't want our employees to come in contact. They're doing everything they can to keep clean. And then when we're done, before we give it back to the customer, we would never want to pass anything on from, let's say, another customer's cars to theirs. Correct. To them. So a complete sterilization of cars. But for most people, they kind of like this because their car has never really been this clean before. So it's not bad.
Now, do you allow so many people in the building?
We've kept a very close tab on more of the waiting room. We have a lot of room on the showroom, and the offices are spread apart. But when people are in the waiting room, we have had to, stop, that's too many. We're going to have to sit you here or here. And we're giving people a discount right now. If we can come and get your car, clean it, and bring it back, we'll actually discount the service. We're just trying to keep everybody at peace. I know people are just itchy to get out of their house, and I'm the same way. I'm fortunate to get to come to work every day, but it's something we just want less people hanging out. If they're here waiting for the car to get done, that's okay. I've had to close our car wash, which anyone that buys a car, you can come get your car washed anytime. Well, we would have 5, 6, 7 people here at the same time, and I noticed right away this is part of a problem. So we had to close that, unfortunately. Hopefully we get to return to that, but I think we're going to have to keep a spacing, between the customers, because they themselves are the social people. Yes. They get their car wash and they see their buddy. Hey, Mary, how are you? And and then all of a sudden they're hugging and handshaking. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I like about Oliver Ford. I've got my last 3 vehicles here, and I love coming and getting my car serviced and sitting and talking with everyone because everybody's so friendly.
Yes, and we love that. Yeah. We love that about our environment.
Right.
But given the time right now, it's hard for us to withdraw because we're so interactive. Yes. with everybody, and especially our coworkers. It's hard not to. In the morning you come in and you talk about what you did last night, and all of a sudden everyone's standing 10 yards away from each other. Yep. So we hear these conversations because you have to talk so loud. It's kind of funny.
It is. Did the virus cause any disruptions in your daily business routine, layoffs, hours? Did you have to change any of that to accommodate?
We did. Yes. The unfortunate side of this was that more so in the beginning is that business fell off so fast that we realized that unless we had stimulus money coming in, that we didn't need the same amount of people, given that we had, let's say, 75% less business. We had 100% of the people, but yet, we would get part of the way through the morning and realize, we didn't have enough to keep everybody busy. So it was twofold. One was people were able to go on unemployment and make an income. Good. And so I felt a little reassured about that, but I worried more about everyone's mental state, because if you're at a business, and it doesn't matter if you're at business or at home, if you have nothing to do for 8 hours a day, it wears on you in a different aspect, and at work it's different because usually we're busy. It's all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and you go home and you go, wow, the day. Where'd that all go? So you're excited to get home to your family and see everybody. But when you're at work and you're not busy, and then you start thinking about, I wonder what the family's doing right now. The kids are home from school. Maybe I could be doing something with them. And that, the more we interacted with our employees, we started noticing that, maybe the time here unproductively was a real mental downer. So to have people not be here, to be home, I think made people feel a little bit better about the circumstance that was going on. They were being paid, but to be here and not doing anything for 8 hours it's a long day.
Yeah.
So we've had to endure that.
I totally can understand that. Has the virus caused any delay in the production of vehicles for Ford?
Yes, that's a major problem right now. They've been shut down, Ford and Lincoln, for 6 weeks now.
Wow.
In a manufacturing scenario, if the plants start up and they're gearing towards May 18th is kind of the start date, maybe if everything goes well, it would be a minimum of 8 weeks before anybody sees another vehicle. So we order cars from Ford and Lincoln at least 3 months in advance. So and the reason for that is because the production time takes, once a car or truck is done being built, it has to be sent to a center to be shipped out, usually railed there and then on a truck to be taken out. And that process takes 2 to 3 weeks. So we're realistically probably closer to 3 months before we'll see a car if they start tomorrow.
Wow.
So it's hard. Usually summer's our busiest month. May, June, July, August, and production ramps up because of that. But right now, production is standing still. And once they start a car, it's hard to plan. We have inventory now, but if business would pick back up, let's say part of the way through May and June, by the time we get to July, I think you will see nationwide that nobody could carry enough inventory to plan for a 8 to 10 week layoff or stop production of cars. It's so widespread. There's so many industries that supply to the automobile industry. If you look in Plymouth, there's a number of suppliers that have been idled because the factories are not building and their warehouses are full. So it's going to take time for it to get back to a normal stream of production. So it's been very hard. We look and say we have too many cars right now, but we know within 60 days we could have not enough cars and be in a different kind of desperate situation without inventory.
So they haven't had anybody in the factories then?
No.
So, yeah, I can understand that.
They work usually so closely together, and it's not that it's an unclean environment. It's incredibly clean, like an operating room, but there's so many people so close together, and you're touching this, and then 100 other people touch that same part. So it's a big concern. So the United Auto Workers are trying to work through that right now, but all things going right, maybe in the middle of the month they will start production, but we'll see.
Let's hope so. Now, where is that production? Where does that take place?
A lot of it, in the United States for Ford is Detroit, Chicago, Kansas City, Louisville, some other states, but the biggest production is Chicago and Detroit, which those are two of the cities that are hotspots right now. There is such a COVID outbreak that it would almost be reckless for them to go back to work at this point.
Exactly.
Yes, we need the product, but we definitely don't need more people getting ill. So
No.
it's I don't know. I hope the numbers go back down. If everyone just stays home and does what they're supposed to and wash your hands,
right.
Hopefully we'll get back to normal.
Let's hope so. I hope so too. I'm ready for the new normal. You kind of touched on this. How has the virus changed the way you were planned for the future of your business?
Everything kind of got put on hold. We plan months in advance, but when all of a sudden you can't plan because you don't know what business is going to do, and it's human nature. We want to know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
And in the car business, we rely upon that information heavily. I need to know what's going to happen next week and the month after that. And all of a sudden, we have no crystal ball. What the governor says on Friday is not going to be known until Friday. And then what happens after that is going to happen 1 minute after the press conference, and there's no way to prepare.
Right.
If he says we're not going to be working for another 2 weeks, or we go back to work right now, well, it all sounds good in theory, but I've got to get the public to be thinking the same way that we are. We may be ready for business.
Right.
General public may not be ready to get back into business that quickly.
Correct.
So, it's hard.
Since the virus will never fully disappear, what do you think the new normal may be?
That's tough. I've thought about this a lot.
Yeah.
If it stays the way that it is, where you have to somewhat shelter in place, and let's say that restaurants open, but they can only be open at 25 or 50%, the days of going wherever you want at any time that you want for any service is really going to change. I mean, if you think about getting a haircut, right? And I hadn't thought about that until I went 6 weeks without getting a haircut, that maybe I can't just call and get in for a haircut that minute or that day. It may be a week scheduling, or, you know, if I want to go to my favorite restaurant, I may not be able to go that day. It may be 3 days later, and that may become the new normal. You know,
I agree.
You know, going to weddings and funerals and graduations, it may not ever return to what it was.
Right. But and you have a nephew. You touched on that. That's going to be graduating.
Yes.
And that's something I will be talking about when I'm interviewing students, is how they're dealing with the thought of not walking across that stage and getting their diploma, the moment their parents have waited for, and
their lives.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's a transitional period between high school and what lies beyond. And
right.
You know, you and I had the privilege of walking across the stage and people clapping and hugging and pictures, and you know, that may never happen in the same way.
Right.
So we've got to find a way to adapt to this, and we have. You know, people have said, you know, there's so much negative out of this, and I always try to look towards the positive. What are some of the good things about this, right? I never would have guessed my son and daughter are in college, right? And so we saw them, I don't know, once every other month, and then we went down for a parents' weekend, you know, maybe twice a year. But I'll tell you, in this last 6 weeks, my son has been home every day, and you know, it's been nice to have lunch and dinner and to catch up with him. He's still doing his schoolwork, but I can't put a price on the memories and the time that we've been able to spend together in 6 weeks. And I realize that as a precious and rare gift that, you know, maybe in this time, maybe that's a good thing, you know? I have to look towards that because everything else has been somewhat disrupted, but I know I'll never get this time back, and I couldn't put a price on what it's been worth to me to be able to spend that time with my family. That, you know, it's just different. It's unique, and I think every day, you know, there's a reason for this. You know, I can't see it, but maybe this is it. Maybe this is the re-engaging with your core people. You're supposed to be home, you know, you're supposed to be distant from other people. Maybe this is a time to rekindle, you know, with your family. Maybe at the end of the day, maybe that's what it's all about. We just don't realize it yet. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but that's been a real positive effect for me. I've really enjoyed that. I'd rather be busy 12 hours a day like we used to be.
Right.
But I sacrifice family time for that.
Correct.
You know? So I cherish this time for the time we've had.
Now, how are they handling it? Do they wish they were back on campus? Do they see themselves going back on campus in the fall?
You know, the schoolwork is still there. They miss the social interaction with their friends. And I get it. You know, when I was that age, it was, it's a part of growing up, you know, learning how to kind of live on your own, you know, doing your own laundry and your own cooking and, you know, making new friends, people that you've never met before, and, you know, making long-term relationships with these people. And right now it's, you know, it's incredibly difficult. I watch my son play video games, and, you know, they have the headsets on, they're talking to each other. Well, that's their interaction right now.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
You know, the text, the video, you know, video games themselves, as much as I thought I don't like this, you know what? He just spent half an hour with his buddies, and that might be the only time that they really get to talk to each other today and hear each other's voices. So there's a new normal there too.
And my last question, is Ford offering any specials to draw customers in to keep the dealerships open and
Absolutely,
running?
yes. So Ford was one of the first to put out. They had a commercial on that actually said through Ford Credit, if you're having a struggle during this time, you could call them, and whether it be defer payments or just not have a payment at that time, they were willing to do that. But on the buying side, they've let you can buy a car right now and defer a payment for 3 months. You don't have a payment for 3 months. They also have at the same time an offer where they will make your first 3 payments for you. So in essence, you could go 6 months without a payment and still have a new vehicle. They have 0% on almost all the models right now, which is great. They put incentives in place to try to, the dealers like Indiana were able to sell, where in Michigan they can't. They were shut. People can't come into the showroom still today. They can go to their house and show them a car, do paperwork off site.
Okay.
You can imagine that that's a little cumbersome, when
Yes.
when someone's looking at vehicles, you like to look at different
Right.
cars and options,
Right.
and it's been very difficult. So Ford has put measures in place. They've tried to keep business going, but it's been really, really tough. It's not a normal time. So we'll see what happens. I think a lot will happen in the next 15 days. I think we'll see some sense of releasing so people can be out a little bit more. Is it a good thing? I don't know.
Right.
I'm afraid of a respike of the numbers that we have. Or maybe we find a vaccine. Maybe we find a test that says, maybe we've already all had it and we didn't know it.
Right.
That it could happen.
A lot of people have said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people. Now, are they offering incentives on leasing a vehicle also?
Yes. Major incentives on leasing. Ford is really trying to, during this time, if people are on a shorter cycle on a vehicle that's under warranty, because we don't know if this resurges a year from now and the whole financial sector is thrown off again, at least people have some stability. They have a newer car under warranty that won't have any ongoing expenses versus an older car that's out of warranty that, if you need engine work and it's $1,000, it's, depending on what the economy is doing in your job at that time, it might be impossible. So at least leasing is an avenue to keep people under warranty on a fairly new vehicle and have a locked-in payment, and that's your only payment. Okay. So Ford's trying to stick to that model, and as a dealership, we're trying to insulate our customers against what might happen maybe next year or the year after that. So it's been a good model. We believe in it.
That's good. I hadn't seen the commercial or hadn't heard anything. So that is really nice that Ford is offering that. For any of my subscribers that are in the state of Indiana, which
Yes.
I do have quite a few, do you want to offer your address or your phone number if they would want to call
Would
just to
love
get
to.
information, or maybe even drive up and purchase a vehicle?
That's right. Yes. We're Oliver Ford Lincoln in Plymouth, Indiana. Our web address is www.oliverford.com. You can see all of our inventory, new and used. Every vehicle that's available is online. You can come in. We will absolutely bring it to you. We'll bring you the car, let you drive. We can do everything. We can finance the car. We can approve credit online. We can even bring an iPad to have you sign. And that's the only contact if you wish. Now, most people have been really, really wanting to come in to do the paperwork. And we're ultra sterile as far as that goes.
Right.
But I think people just need a little change of environment every once in a while. But we are happy to help. I will give, if you need, I'll give you my direct line at work. Myself, I have 6 salespeople, and we all work together. So we're here to answer any questions you might have. My direct line at work is area code 574-948-0813. That number again, 574-948-0813. If you're outside of our local area code, call our 800 number, which is 1-800-448-8292. That's again 800-448-8292. And if you need service, let's say you have a car, you didn't buy it here, it's not even a Ford. It might be a Honda, a Dodge, a Mercedes-Benz. We work on all of the cars. We will come pick up your car within a 50-mile radius, bring it back, sterilize it, do the service work that it needs, bring it back to you. We're taking $10 off any service for the ability to come and do that so you can stay safe and at home, and we will keep your car clean and hygienic, I promise. So no, we're here to help. We're a local dealership. We've been here for 65 years. We're third generation. My grandfather started the business in 1955. He worked at Allen County Motors in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's a picture from 1952.
Yes.
So we're thankful to be working with Ford and Lincoln. They're great partners, and we'll show you the way that hometown business is done. Okay. If you just want to sit and talk, we're here for that too. But if you need automotive help of any kind, please let us know. If we can help you, we'll find somebody that can.
Well, John, I appreciate you taking the time to answer all my questions, the subscribers' questions, and just letting them know how our community is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. And
Thanks,
I really
Kris.
appreciate it.
I'm blessed and thankful to live in Marshall County, Plymouth, Indiana. We've got a great community, and we're all going through the same COVID.
Yes.
But I think we're better adapted here in rural America, Indiana.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I feel we're doing well.
Yes. So to everybody out there, stay safe. Be thankful for the treasures that you have, and take the opportunity that you have that you can't be at work. If you can reconnect with your family, build that relationship, you can't put a price on it.
No, you can't.
So stay safe.
Thank you, John.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you everyone for watching. I will be back with another video. I will be interviewing local students from Argus High School. So thank you very much everyone, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.